Supply chain security is everyone's problem, and if your leadership thinks that it's still the CISO's problem, they need to adapt very quickly. For years, cybersecurity lived in one place. The CISO owned it. If something popped up, the security team handled it. It wasn't anyone else's problem because we were all busy with growth, operations, and revenue, and honestly, it made sense. Well, I'm sorry to break it to you, but welcome to the new world. Most incidents no longer start inside your company. They start somewhere in your supply chain. It could be a vendor, a partner, a cloud service, a dependency nobody was thinking about. It's not technical anymore. It becomes operational, it becomes legal, it becomes financial, and very quickly, it becomes a leadership problem. That shift is exactly why we're seeing regulations evolve. Look at DORA in Europe, for example. It doesn't just talk about security controls, it explicitly puts responsibility on the management body to understand and oversee ICT risk. That means leadership is expected to know who your critical vendors are, how they're monitored, what happens if one of them fails. This isn't technical checkbox anymore, it's responsibility. Look at the direct frameworks like NIST are pushing. The conversation has moved from protect your system to manage risk across the entire organization. That includes third-party dependencies, supply chain exposure. It's a shift from technical security to organizational resilience. In the defense world with CMMC, we're seeing the same pattern. Companies don't just have to secure their own environments anymore. They're accountable for how controlled information flows across their partner ecosystem. If a supplier is weak, you inherit that risk. And that accountability doesn't stop at the security team any longer. It reaches leadership through contracts, compliance, and oversight. So the message across all of this is becoming very consistent. Security is no longer something that sits in one department because the biggest risks now move through vendors, and vendors touch everything. Finance relies on external systems, operations rely on partners, developers rely on open source tools, and AI code assistant, not to mention your marketing team that is heavily reliant on automation tools and AI. Legal relies on external platforms, HR relies on cloud services. Supply chain risk is a business risk. And when something breaks in your supply chain, it doesn't hit one team, it hits the whole company. That's why this conversation is getting pulled into the boardroom. Leaders are starting to realize you don't need a breach in your environment to have a breach impact your business. You just need one weak link somewhere in your ecosystem. And that's why supply chain security isn't just something that the CISO should care about anymore. If there is one thing you should take from this today, it's this. Risk no longer moves through system, it moves through relationships. And once you see it that way, you realize security was never just a technical issue. It was always an organizational one. We just got away with thinking it wasn't.